Mostly when it comes to politics. You can either speak for yourself and just be a person, or you can try to speak for the majority and be a politician. I have nothing against politicians, really. They are in a position where they have to put themselves second sometimes. All the same, there's no reason to spoil anybody's carpet. So if you're around Lou Carl and you don't want to see him chew your favorite carpet, you might ask him to keep a safe distance. Lou Carl used to say, this is an insight into the fulminating absolutism of the parochial squalid mind. Even saying there is no absolute is an absolute. Oh! And this gave him cock and bull escalation dominance in his opinion. You could just as easily be Taoist about it. Say there are only two absolutes, this one and that there are no others. Keep them away from the carpet. The alibi program summoned by Access Hollywood seeks with great deviancy to announce that there's only one way to see everything because you only have a choice between one side or the other. Rather strangely, they promote the idea that one side is the only side. You're either with Reagan and Lenin or you're against Reagan and Lenin. And if you don't choose Lenin, you're against Lenin. If you don't choose Reagan, you're against Reagan. And yet, miraculously, the two sides are Lenin versus Reagan. And they index that to Fenton, which is the National Association for the Deaf, Fenton Bresler, which is like Bresler's slur. And what they're selling is, I'll tell you, women, now that we have reinstalled Tessa de D'Urbervilles as Queen, Crimson, Excelsior, beyond all honored mantras. We, as the dictator, dominatrix of all sensibilities. You may forget that I had a sister and had to put up with men breaking her windows after she slept with them and performing various forms of freak out of the sort associated with Pns Gabriel. And they implanted a neuroplasm hoping to see me adopt this provincial norm of the city of Pittsburgh, which I did not. So they started firing attack prostitutes at me. And now they have this licky chops notion. I went to one of them Weezo retreats. They went up to Canada and sang the Star Spangled Banner across the borders, which gives you some insight into their parochial coup. And they wanted me to drink the Kool-Aid of this woman's lascivious presentation of all the things that she did. She was very revealing. And when it was over, she said, and then I found Weezum. And they burst into cheers, you know. And I was like, oh, get out of here. The only thing you're chanting are her ribald stories. And he said, no, Jim, Jesus. Well, they have this litany in Teamsterville that they send out the garbage to rear the son, then take away from him his rightful spouse. I mean, they call it subjecting the persona to successive degradations of the ex-motive. And I'm not the one who called them garbage. That comes from them. They said that. That's a quote. So you're supposed to say in politics, you should bare your soul so that we can say wisdom to you. Well, it turns out that, the Licky Chops pornography genocide crowd who set up Two Virgins Pussy Bone, clocked it to the AIDS attack, have in mind using the old concept of political embarrassment to sell the idea not only that one size fits all and the exterminator Lobaton cloister of the Grand Parade of Dawn's Dead, the living dead, or whatever you want to call it. And of course, the insult therapy chamber, where all things come even because Lou Carl wins, ha ha ha, wins, ha ha ha. That Dealey Plaza was the execution of a sex devil. Then they called out the national pimp. The national pimp announced that the honor of the First Lady shall be avenged by the Carousel Club. And Monty Python has a grip on this. This is the sort of thing that they do is skits. They turn it into, people are weird. It's not logical, but people love it, don't they? And that's the situation we have. Because Hollywood has mastered the art of foiling public education with its opposite, destruction of the public mind. So, I'm sorry I can't gratify you. Do you have a more specific question than do I like Hooters? Do you have a more specific question? Are you in Jimmy Curley syndrome, Chris?